Robert Sargent Shriver Jr., the hidden scandals of a political icon. Robert Sargent Shriver Jr., known for his diplomatic and social reform achievements, also harbored a life filled with controversies and deep political entanglements. As a key figure in the Kennedy family and the American political landscape, his story intertwines groundbreaking initiatives with secret oppositions and scandals. This video delves into 11 shocking facts that reveal the complex and often hidden layers of one of the 20th century's most influential figures. Fact number 1. Early life and influences. Robert Sargent Shriver Jr. was born into a well-established Maryland family on November 9, 1915, in Westminster. His father, Robert Sargent Shriver Sr., was a prominent banker, and his mother, Hilda Shriver, née Sterling, a dedicated philanthropist. Raised in an environment emphasizing civic responsibility and public service, Shriver attended the elite Canterbury School in New Milford, Connecticut, where he excelled academically and athletically. He later graduated cum laude from Yale University in 1938, where his involvement with the prestigious Skull and Bones Society connected him with future leaders. This network, coupled with his devout Catholic upbringing, instilled a profound sense of duty in Shriver that spurred his lifelong dedication to social reform. His early years not only shaped his aspirations but also prepared him for roles that would allow him to address significant societal issues. Number 2. Origin of the Peace Corps. Although the concept of the Peace Corps was first proposed by Senator Hubert Humphrey in the late 1950s, it was Robert Sargent Shriver Jr. who was instrumental in its realization. Appointed by President John F. Kennedy to head the new organization, Shriver officially launched the Peace Corps in March 1961. The launch followed Kennedy's executive order, which Shriver helped to draft and execute, transforming the preliminary concept into a functional entity that would promote international development and cultural exchange. Under Shriver's leadership, the Peace Corps quickly became a symbol of American goodwill, with its first group of volunteers arriving in Ghana and Tanzania in August 1961. By 1966, the program had expanded to more than 45 countries with over 15,000 volunteers, a testament to Shriver's skillful guidance and unwavering dedication to global understanding. Number 3. Connection to the Kennedy family. Robert Sargent Shriver Jr. cemented his place within the Kennedy dynasty through his marriage to Eunice Kennedy on May 23, 1953, at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City, an event attended by a who's who of American society. Eunice, the fifth child of Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. and Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, shared her husband's passion for public service, particularly in areas of disability rights and social justice. Their union not only allied Shriver with a family of considerable political clout but also positioned him in a unique role that often merged family loyalty with public duty. This connection deeply influenced his career, providing him platforms such as the directorship of the Kennedy Foundation, through which he supported his wife's work in founding the Special Olympics. Although his professional achievements were sometimes overshadowed by his Kennedy ties, these relationships undoubtedly shaped and propelled his contributions to American society. Number 4. Personal life and family. Robert Sargent Shriver Jr. married Eunice Kennedy on May 23, 1953, at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City, a significant alliance that united him with the influential Kennedy family. Together, they had 5 children: Robert Sargent Shriver III, born 1954, Maria Owing Shriver, born 1955, Timothy Perry Shriver, born 1959, Mark Kennedy Shriver, born 1964, and Anthony Paul Kennedy Shriver, born 1965. Each child has carved out their own path in public service and advocacy. Maria Shriver became a renowned journalist and the First Lady of California during Arnold Schwarzenegger's governorship. Timothy Shriver followed in his mother's footsteps, taking over as chairman of the Special Olympics in 1996, a role he continues to serve in, enhancing the organization's global impact. Robert, Mark, and Anthony have also pursued careers that align with the family's legacy of service: Robert in nonprofit organizations, Mark as a politician and activist, and Anthony as the founder of Best Buddies International. Sargent Shriver's commitment to his family's involvement in social causes is a testament to his personal values and his desire to extend the Kennedy legacy of public engagement. Number 5. A near miss in vice presidential politics. In 1972, the Democratic presidential campaign experienced a significant shakeup when vice presidential candidate Thomas Eagleton withdrew after it was revealed that he had undergone electroshock therapy for depression. Sargent Shriver was then tapped by Democratic nominee George McGovern to replace Eagleton. Shriver accepted the nomination in August 1972, joining the ticket only 3 months before the election. This last-minute change underscored the tumultuous nature of the campaign and was seen by many as a desperate attempt to salvage a faltering bid for the presidency. Despite vigorous campaigning, the McGovern-Shriver ticket faced an overwhelming defeat, winning only Massachusetts and the District of Columbia against incumbent President Richard Nixon in one of the largest landslides in U.S. electoral history. Number 6. Innovator of social programs. As the architect of the Office of Economic Opportunity, OEO, under President Johnson's War on Poverty, Sargent Shriver played a pivotal role in launching several transformative social initiatives. Established in 1964, the OEO spearheaded programs such as Head Start, which prepares children from low-income families for school, Job Corps, which provides vocational training for young adults, and Volunteers in Service to America, VISTA, which is often likened to a domestic version of the Peace Corps. These programs were groundbreaking at the time and continue to play critical roles in social services across the U.S. Shriver's proactive and sometimes assertive approach to pushing these programs forward often led to clashes with political figures who were skeptical of their efficacy or concerned about their cost. Number 7. Opposition to abortion. Robert Sargent Shriver's stance on abortion was notably conservative, especially compared to the liberal wings of the Democratic Party. As a devout Catholic, Shriver's views were heavily influenced by his religious beliefs. Throughout the 1970s, as the debate over abortion rights intensified leading up to the landmark Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision in 1973, Shriver's opposition to abortion became a focal point of controversy. His position was at odds with many in his party, who were shifting towards a more pro-choice stance. This divergence was particularly evident during his vice presidential run in 1972 and his campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1976, making it a contentious issue that highlighted the complex interplay between personal conviction and political alignment. Number 8. Ambassador to France. Sargent Shriver served as the U.S. ambassador to France from 1968 to 1970, during a tumultuous period in French history. His tenure coincided with the aftermath of the May 1968 protests, a massive movement that saw millions of French students and workers strike, posing significant challenges to the French government and creating a volatile environment for diplomatic relations. During his ambassadorship, Shriver's direct diplomatic style and the U.S.'s ongoing involvement in the Vietnam War exacerbated tensions between the U.S. and France. President Charles de Gaulle's criticism of U.S. policies, particularly the Vietnam War, led to strained relations, with Shriver often at the forefront of defending U.S. interests while trying to maintain an amicable bilateral relationship. Number 9. Intellectual property theft accusation. In an episode that remains less known but controversial, Sargent Shriver faced accusations of intellectual property theft concerning the Peace Corps logo. The claim emerged shortly after the Peace Corps was established, with a graphic designer alleging that his design was adopted by the organization without proper attribution or financial compensation. The specifics of the case indicate that the designer submitted his artwork in a solicited competition but was not formally recognized or remunerated when his design was chosen. The matter was reportedly settled quietly out of court, reflecting the sensitive and potentially embarrassing nature of the allegations for a high-profile government initiative like the Peace Corps. Number 10. Opposition to the Vietnam War. Despite holding positions in administrations that supported the Vietnam War, Robert Sargent Shriver Jr. privately opposed the conflict. His reservations were rooted in concerns over the war's moral implications and its detrimental effects on America's domestic climate and international standing. Shriver's internal conflict became particularly pronounced during his tenure as the U.S. ambassador to France from 1968 to 1970, a period when anti-war sentiments were vigorously expressed both in the U.S. and across Europe. The May 1968 protests in France, which coincided with his ambassadorship, were partially fueled by opposition to global militarism, echoing his concerns about the war's impact. Shriver's discreet opposition placed him at odds with the Johnson and Nixon administration's policies, leading to discrete tensions and complicating his diplomatic efforts. Number 11. Presidential ambitions. In 1976, Robert Sargent Shriver announced his candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination, reflecting his long-held ambitions to lead the nation. His campaign, however, struggled from the outset. Launching his bid in the crowded Democratic field, Shriver faced stiff competition from more established figures such as Jimmy Carter, Morris Udall, and Jerry Brown. Despite his notable public service record and a platform emphasizing peace and social equity, Shriver's campaign failed to resonate broadly with Democratic voters, and he found it challenging to secure significant delegate support. He officially withdrew from the race after the first set of primaries, where he performed poorly. This marked the end of his direct involvement in electoral politics, although he continued to influence public policy through his advocacy and public service roles.